Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamel Saadaoui. I'm a full professor of economics at University of Paris 8. And today I will show you how to use Stata to estimate a local projection impulse response function. First of all, I invite you to go to my website, Econ Macro, pedagogical resources on Stata coding and so on. You can go into my GitHub folder here, where you can have the codes of the blogs that I did during the last years. Everything is explained here. And you can also have the codes of some of my research papers to replicate my results and train yourself. So today we are going to replicate the results in this paper. It's publication that has been published in 2024, yes, with Professor Valérie Mignon at the Université of Paris-Nanterre. So today we are going to use Stata to illustrate the local projection impulse response function estimates. So you have a blog in which the computation that we are going to do are explained. So I can also recommend you to go to this blog illustrating the new LPRERF Stata 18th command, in which you will have more detail on how to estimate and visualize these impulse response function. There is an extension of this blog that I've done recently, controlling for energy uncertainty, but here this blog will be covered probably next time. Yeah. On the Stata website, you have also a very nice demonstration on how the local projection for impulse response functions are described. You're required to have a recent version of Stata 18 to run these examples. So I will start with my folder. You have the relative path of my folder here. So I start by opening Stata and opening a do file you can open a do file by using this icon with a sheet of paper and a pencil. Yeah. So I start by, you can use this new feature of Stata, star hashtag. You can have these, sections for the file. So let us start by running that. Yeah. I will use the command CLS to clear the console here and clear for clearing eventual datasets that has been used before. I will use the standard scheme the standard scheme, color scheme, which is the ST color scheme. You can be interested in to indicate the version that you used for the estimation, because Stata guarantees the fact that that future version of Stata will be able to replicate your results. So full forward compatibility is ensured by Stata. Yeah. You can remove this part because it was more relevant for all the versions of Stata. So to offset the of a command in Stata, you can use the star, and it becomes green. It means that we will not have any effect on the data. Yeah. You can change the path of your folder here. For me, it will be these commands. So now you can see that the path of current directory, and Stata is the same where I store my data. Yeah. Now I recommend you to use a log file. A log file will be a file but where you can print all the results that you have on your console window. So from the line 19, everything which be printed here will be stored into this file, which could be interesting if you want to submit your paper into a journal. We're going to import the data with import Excel. I don't have to specify the full because I already did it partially here. I can split the line with this delimiter. Specify that I will use the data sheet into the Excel file. If you look at the Excel file, you can see the data, of course, which are stored here in the data tab, and the source of the data is described here. Yeah. Again, read the paper if you are interested into the different component which we try to model the price of oil. So I import the data. Yeah. A very nice feature in Stata is to use this icon, the grid. You can visualize the data set. Yeah. So in Stata, the starting point for the time is relative, so it needs a starting point. In Excel is the beginning of the 20th century, and in Stata is the beginning of the 60s. So if I use this command, it will start a series of values starting with 0. And if I use a format command, Stata will understand that it is the beginning of the time for Stata. As I have monthly data, I use these TM thing. So I will understand that I will start into January 1960. Yeah, okay. I can drop the data after the start of the COVID because the baseline has been estimated without the COVID period. Yeah. Another very useful feature in Stata is to give labels for your variables. So you can do that using label variable command, which can be abbreviated with var if you want to be more fast. So if you run this part, you will see now the variable I've now labeled, which is very handy if you want to replicate the data. If you look at using the command describe, it gives you what is inside your dataset. 720 observations, 10 variables, different types of storage, etc. etc. Yeah. You can rename the variable if you want. Global oil production with Pro, world industrial production with DEM, and real spot price with RPO. Okay. The command describe can be abbreviated with des. Yeah. So I don't need any more T, so I will drop T. And I want that the period variable will be first, so I would order period first. Be careful if I use period with a small cap P, you will not understand because Stata is sensitive to capitalization. So small cap period, small cap P period, and is not the same as just period without capitalization. Yeah. Sorry, I think I made something. Everything won't start. So just I will go. Yeah. Okay. So period is now first. Yeah. Now I can use for the political relationship index, I can use the log modulus transform because the index have zero values, and you know what the hypersign transformation, and that be used in the foreign direct investment literature as some criticism. Yeah. So I can use this transformation. I can also use this transformation for the index of global activity made by created by Lutz Killian. Yeah. I can give it a label too. Yeah. I can also give a label for this index of global real activity here. Yeah. Global real activity, yes. Now in the recent version of Stata, you have also auto-completion, which is very nice if you want to reuse previous words into your file. Here there is a T typo here, so you can just correct it here. Yeah, okay. So now we have created the natural logs of the variables. We have the other transformation for these two indexes containing zero value. So if we look at the description, some the variables are quite nicely ordered, and you can summarize your data here. We have the summary statistics. Oh yeah, I forgot to create a Ligrea variable. Yeah. Okay, so now we have summary statistics. I will declare the variable to be time series. So I have to declare time series. Yeah. Here is a TS set command. A period is the variable containing the time, and I will precise that is monthly data. Yeah. So now we have monthly data from the beginning of the 60s and to the end of the 2010s. So I can save this database if I want to keep track for further investigation and not have to do all this preliminary work. Yeah. So now I will use the two-way command in order to plot the series of political tensions and the geopolitical risk associated to China. I include this y-axis to command in order to plot the GPR specific to China in another axis. Again, give a name to the plotting state. Yeah. So that's the picture that you have into the paper, into the data description. Maybe before, just to motivate the paper here. And what you can see is that indeed, after the first election of Donald Trump, the relationship between US and China started to deteriorate a lot. As, even at the start of his presidency, reflecting the threats of a trade war, which has been materialized in 2018. And besides the GPR shocks, GPR's evolution also started to increase a lot after the election of Donald Trump. Yeah? So I can export into three different formats, SVG, PDF, and PNG, this file, which is kind of a motivational graph for the data. You can see that PDF, of course, is a vectorial format, so the appearance of the word does not change. SVG is also, you can open SVG with Microsoft Edge. SVG is also vectorial, so the appearance does not change. And PNG, which is maybe a most common format, is not PNG, so up to some point it will deteriorate the picture, but using the width 4000 option limit this different effect. So in the paper, we have a vector of 4 variables, which is the following. I think I can just not describe, but that's basically a vector variables. I will show you that shortly. So in order to estimate a shortened var, I need to specify 2 matrices in which I will include a restriction in order to make a causal analysis. So in order to do that, I have to specify the A matrix and the B matrix in order to have a way for using the reduced form shocks to have the structural shocks. It has been explained to me by Miguel Dorta from Static Hope. And if I do that and use shortened restriction based on a Cholesky decomposition, I can recover the structural shocks from the reduced form shocks. Yeah? So we are going to do that. So first I specify a matrix A with some dots in it. So the syntax to write matrices in Stata is the following. If you change a line, you can use these symbols here. So the dots are 3 parameters to be estimated. So let us look what is in the state in the matrix A. So in matrix A, you have some restrictions, but in the upper part of the matrix, you have some restrictions. And in the lower part, you have estimated to be parameter to be estimated. So basically, you have a recursive system in which political relationships causes the production of oil to be affected, and then industrial production, and then at the end of the system, the real price of oil will be affected. I also have to specify B matrix with also in the first diagonal, first parameter to be estimated. Yeah. So I can estimate the this SVR as an illustration starting from January 2000 by specifying the restriction A and B. I use long lags in this paper, 24 more flags, so it's a VR24. So now we will estimate the 3 parameter that I show you using in matrix A and matrix B. So we have these. But as you know, in VR analysis, we are not interested we are not very interested by the contravariance impact. So we are going to see how to plot impulse response functions. So what we are going to do is to use the estimations of this matrix A and the estimation of this matrix B, yeah, to store them into B and A matrices. Yeah. Then I will invert the B matrix and multiply it by the A matrix because I want ultimately to compute these guys. Yeah. So I will do that. So now I have the first part of the story to have my structural shocks. I have this part, but I need to have a reduced form structural shocks, which are here. Yeah. So I will estimate a VR without any structural framework, without any structural scheme. A VR with four equations, which are estimated by OLS here. equation for the political tensions, an equation for the production, equation for the demand, equation for the price, with two lags. Yeah, that's the default setting in Stata. Yeah. So I will remove if I already have these epsilon things which have been estimated. So for each equation, you can pin the period here. It's a new feature of Stata. For each of these variables, each of these equations, sorry, I will keep the residuals using predict, double, epsilon 1, etc. So I will these lines, I will 4 extra columns in which you have these reduced form residuals, right? Yep. Starting from 2001, yeah, here. So these residuals cannot be interpreted because they don't have a structural restriction. So you cannot make structural interpretation, causal interpretation, which can be not very interesting for economists like me. So if you want to make a causal interpretation, you need to specify these. You need to use these restrictions that have been embedded here in this part to recover these guys. So we are going to use the mkmat command, which stores this series into a matrix. So we will have a matrix epsilon store here. Yeah? So for each equation, we have a different matrices. Yeah. So if we want to perform the calculation that we have here, we can use this series. Epsilon star is for epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon 3, epsilon 4. If you want to show what's the content of the epsilon matrix, you can just do that, okay? At least epsilon. So I have this matrix, so many lines and 4 columns, yeah? So if you look at the BA matrix, it is a 4-4 matrix. So if you want to multiply BA, you can use the inverse of epsilon, yeah? We can also look what's into this new matrix E, which is a matrix with the structural shocks. So here we have 4 structural shocks on the political tension index, structural shocks on the production, structural shocks on the demand, structural shocks on the real price fall. And now I will use the svmat command to store these shocks. So you have this extra column, which are the structural shocks. These shocks can be interpreted now or with a recursive ordering and Cholesky decomposition, right? So I can give a name for the shocks. On the first column, we have the reduced form shocks of political tensions. And here you have the structural shocks of political tensions, what we have here. Okay, you can label these variables, right? And then I can make a plot of these variables. Yeah? This picture can be found into here, which is the baseline. It is described here. Yeah. You can see I have a lot of shocks around the Trump presidency. Yeah, positive and negative shocks. You can save the data again. Not very interesting because we already covered that. More interestingly, you can, if you want to look at the inverse response function, because we are interested in it, for VR, structural VR analysis. We are going to use the command ARF and the subcommand set. And this command, with replace, will create a specific database in which all the results of the impulse response function will be stored. Yeah. So I will start by illustrating the LPIRF command. Again, if you want to have flavor of it, you can go here. Everything is explained more in detail if you want. Yeah. So what the commands do? The command you have to specify controls. The controls we put it there. So the controls are production, global oil production in log, global industrial production in log, real price of oil in log, spot price. 48 months of the horizons. So we are going to make the impulse response function during 48 horizons. The lags for the control variable. Now, on the second line, you can use this to change the line and keep the same command. You are going to include to the exogenous part the shock that you are going to explore. And we include the same number of flags as for the controls. The variance covariance matrix for estimating the standard errors has been used with the robust option. We don't go for the new UES because we have long lags, which could be enough to consider the autocorrelation. Yeah. So we start and we are going to look what is happening in this. So if you look at the bottom of, if you look at the upper part of this command, we look at local impulse projection, local projection impulse response function. The sample is here. Why the sample stop here instead of the end of 2019? It's because you chosen to use 48 months for reason. So you lose this observation. Yeah? 4 impulse variable, 3 response variable, and we have a lot of controls. Yeah, here. Huh? So if you look at the bottom part here, you have the impulse response variable, which are here. But to be more interested into is, of course, structural shocks on the political tension index. So the political tension index, when it increases, is an improvement of relation, and when it decreases, is the deterioration of the relationship. So I have a lot of controls, long lags controls, and we are going to do the same. So after that, so for example here, we look at the response of the, if you look at the bottom panel here, the shock, the impulse response is E1, is the series that we had here, the blue series here. So we're going to see how the price of oil, real price of oil in log, reacts to these structural shocks. So for each time horizon, we're going to see, we're going to increase E1 by 1, a unit shock, and see how the real price of oil reacts after during the current period, after 1 year, after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, etc. Maybe 15 months or 14 months, you have a positive response of the price of oil around 5%, which is an interesting feature. And of course, a lot of controls. So we are going to do the same thing for the VR. We are going to estimate VR and use as an exogenous shock the shock that you have previously identified. And after, don't forget, after the LPIRF command, store your results using IF create LP model. Yeah. So same. The writing is almost the same with VR model. We are going to store again. The VR model takes a bit more time because the LP, the local projection relies on OLS regression at different time horizon, but you can see that it does not cost too much computational power to do this VR model. Yeah. So now I'm going to use this IRF graph dynamic multiplier because you can have a dynamic multiplier for the VR and for local projection model. I'm going to focus on the political tension shock as the impulse, and the response will be the real price point, spot price, in log. I specify the two different LP and VR model. The confidence interval will be 95 because we do not rely on Bayesian techniques. We cannot lower the level of confidence too much. I can give a name for the graph and replace the name of the graph. I can make more customization for the impulse response. So what we have here, we have the figure that you found in this part. And what you can see here is that the dynamics of the real price fund estimated by two methodology impulse response function are similar in the dynamics. You have two bumps here. The first one after maybe 6 months, and the second one after maybe around 15 months. Yeah. So what we have here is a way to estimate and to compare, if you want, impulse response on the VR and AP model. So the recent development in the literature show that if you use sufficiently long lines, these two things will be increasingly similar. And here we use 24 lines, and somehow it's similar, even if in the VR model the estimates are less significant, right? So I will stop here the video. I can save the data. If you have, and maybe the last thing what we can do is to run everything to see this file that I mentioned at the beginning, to see this file that gather all the results printed into the console. So we start with the first line and run everything. So in the last part of the paper, we explore the impact of this evolution, these shocks, on the expectation based on the survey data that have been collected by the OECD. And we show that the causality is running from the political tensions from for the political relationship index and business consumer the business confidence index is more driven by the GPR shocks from Kalmar and Yakovleva. So it seems that consumer expectations have been more driven by this political relationship index, measuring the relationship between China and the US. And it seems that the GPRs are more observed or more focused by the firms and by the aggregate market. So it takes a bit of time to compute the test because it relies on the bootstrap calculation and the time varying Gaussian causality because we expect that these relationships are say the causality will not be stable through time, and this is something which is expected. That's not something which is surprising, so to speak. So we can wait a bit because it should produce some result up to some point. But we can also stop here because it requires too much time to do it. So if I want to stop a running code, I just have to break the code here, and this part will be done into maybe another video. So I can redo everything by just putting that into a comment section, and then I can run everything again. It will be this time very fast, and I will show you this SCML file. Maybe another video about this time varying Gaussian causality. Interesting to do as a second part from this video in order to not make something which is too long, because time varying Gaussian causality is also a very interesting topic to cover. So if you want, as a final step for this video, if you want to look at the results that have been printed throughout the code, you can open this SML file and you can submit that to your journal or to your supervisor, in which you will be able to look at all steps what you done, and will be possibly give you some feedback about what you done. But it gives full transparency about what you did. So the video is now finished, and you can keep in touch with me by sending me an email here. I can give you some further insights. Probably I will make another video to cover this time variable causality to show you how to reproduce the last part of the paper because we may be very interested to see if these political or geopolitical tensions affect the expectations of firms, households, and aggregate market. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you later.